We are making a pull-apart spinach dip bread that I like to call my spinach dip Christmas tree because it is in the shape of a Christmas tree and it is so delicious. You're gonna love it. It really combines my love of spinach dip, which is one of my favorite things to make for a gathering, like as an appetizer. And also I love anything bready or doughy. I do. So combining the two is just spectacular. You are going to love this. I'm gonna start off with the sort of dip ingredients. In this bowl, I've got some cream cheese. Now this is the chive cream cheese flavor, but you can use plain cream cheese. I just happened to find that and I really wanted to use it. I've also got a little bit of mayo, a little bit of sour cream, and I have some frozen chopped spinach that I've thawed and just really squeezed out lots and lots of that moisture because we don't want this to be wet. So now to this, I'm gonna go ahead and hit it with just a pinch of salt. Let me go grab my garlic and herb seasoning. Hold on, because I forgot. Garlic and herb, this is my favorite. Lots of freshly ground black pepper. And then I'm gonna go ahead and grate some Parmigiano. I got my big old hunk of block here, which is kind of hard to grate such a big block. I usually have it, I grate it myself in a blender, but I just cut a chunk off and I'm gonna grate it right in because I want a good 1/4 cup of freshly grated. I've got my oven preheating to 375 so that it's ready for us when we are ready for it. And now I'm gonna add some shredded mozz to this. You could use cheddar, you could use Monterey Jack, you could use a little pepper jack. Any of that will work just fine. And now just using a spoon, making sure that your cream cheese is at room temperature so that it's easy to mix. I'm just gonna mix this together. I'm gonna switch to a spatula just to make things easier. That looks great. I'm gonna go ahead and set this aside. Now let's talk dough. I am using some crescent roll dough. Now they also come in sheets just like this. This is just known as crescent dough sheet so that it doesn't have all the cutouts for the crescent rolls. I have done this with puff pastry with excellent result. I just like the breadiness of this a little better than the flakiness of the puff pastry, but you can use both. And I know puff pastry is available pretty much in every country. I know it's even available in Italy, so it's a very sort of easy to replace item. But as I said, I'm using this. If you want to use crescent dough specifically, but you can't get your hands on this, I would go to laurainthekitchen.com. I would get the recipe for my crescent rolls, and I would just make that recipe, but instead of cutting them into little rolls, just use them as the sheet for this. So you've got options. So I'm gonna work with one at a time. I hate opening these things because I either A, always break the seal, or they don't open up. But here we go. I'm gonna move one of the baking sheets closer to me. I've got it lined with some parchment paper. Get that open. Careful not to pierce it too much because sometimes I've been known to be a little rough, you know? So just unroll this. Just try to pull it so that you make an even rectangle, but don't tear it. You know, if it's like a little bit lopsided over there, it's fine. You're gonna take your mixture, which is this is so good. This is gonna go well with drinks, as an appetizer, or just like even if you wanna make this and place it like on your grazing little board or on your charcuterie board, it would just really be a great little, like a little showpiece, you know what I mean? Try to do this carefully because I hate when parchment paper moves all over the place. It drives me insane, but you know, what are you gonna do? And I pretty much like to go from corner to corner because all the excess of the cutout basically that we're gonna do, I just like to make a little twist and add them right to my board, and they're delicious because I will not waste a single little thing. So just take your time and just get it as even as you can. Okay, we have our second one. Now this one ripped a bit, so I don't want that to scare you because we can work with it and it's really fine. And we can pinch it together where we have to, you know? So just carefully unravel. And again, we are gonna stretch it out and seal it back together in areas that just got messed up. It does not matter that much. It's very forgiving. I just like to do it as carefully as I can. Okay, that is what it looks like. I'm gonna have to turn this towards me because I need to be able to see what exactly I'm doing. But at this point, I'm just basically going to cut out the shape of a tree, if you will. And I like to just give myself like a template before I go in and cut it. That's good. So I sort of know what I'm dealing with. You can use a really big knife or you can use a smaller knife, whichever makes you feel more comfortable. Now, and I know what you're thinking, we have a lot of extra, but I'm gonna actually make 2. You'll see. You'll see. And then we'll have extra ones to work with as well to make a little twist. See what I'm doing here? I'm gonna cut it a little bit further in. I'm gonna just take these, place these on here, because I'm gonna get another Christmas tree out of this. We are going to cut it and we're going to pinch it together and it's going to be great. But until we do that, I'm going to work with this little guy because I'm going to show you how I do it. Now, it's going to look a bit messy, but you're going to have to this is the kind of thing that you trust the process. I like to cut a piece of the base off because Christmas trees shouldn't have a base that big. And I'm going to use this for my topper. Now you're going to come in here and you're going to cut slits like that. Once you have them all cut, you're going to take each piece, sort of gently tug on it and pull it just a tiny little bit. Twist it twice and leave it like that, okay? It's going to be a little bit messy, but you're going to have to just trust me when I tell you these are absolutely delicious and they kind of just, I don't know, they go with the look of being like this really cool little rustic thing. And as you get closer, you're only gonna be able to twist once because obviously these small pieces up here are really small, but don't be concerned about the mess that it makes because once it bakes, it's just so delicious. And if you follow me on Instagram, you remember we did this, something similar to this with Nutella last year and some puff pastry, and that was such a hit. You guys made that recipe so many times. I was tagged in it. It was awesome. So if you make this, please tag me so I can see. You know, I'm nosy like that. I should have been named Rosie so that I could be known as Nosy Rosie because I love to see what people are cooking. I love to see what people are eating because in my opinion, it really is the best way to get to know, you know, people and through their what they like to eat and cook and things like that. And then I like to take this guy. You really do not have to, but you know, to cut a little snowflake or a star or anything like that. And I am going to pop this at the very top like so. When I add my butter, I'm gonna do that. So that is what it should look like that. We're gonna butter this with a garlic butter, but I wanna show you how I do this because we waste nothing in this house, nothing when it comes to food. It's my biggest pet peeve, we talked about it. You're gonna take these 2 pieces and you're gonna just marry them together. It does not matter that they're not perfect, who cares? Because I can tell you what it will be, which is delicious, okay? That is a guarantee. And you're gonna just cut it so that it's got a base. And you're gonna follow the same things. The only exception is you don't have a trunk here, so we're just gonna make one, okay? So we will make one with a cutout, but until then, you're just gonna cut slits and just repeat that same process. We got our second star. I also wanted to show you, I cut out a little piece for the base, and then these 2 pieces that are the sides, here's what I do, because these also look really good and they're really tasty. Just alongside everything else. I just cut them into little strips like that, twist them around, and leave them like so. That's all. And they're so good. Good, you know? It's a nice little cook's treat as you're putting this together for everyone else. Like you don't want to touch the tree and mess it up. Just have a couple of these. Cook's treat. You always have to have one of those. I'm gonna do this as well, and then I'm going to just melt some butter, and we are gonna work on finishing this off before it bakes. To some melted butter, I'm just gonna grate in some fresh garlic, and remember when you grate it, it's really, really strong. So I just suggest you do just 1 clove because otherwise all you'll taste is a really strong garlic taste. And some freshly grated parm and just a small little sprinkle. Thank goodness I caught it with my hand, otherwise it would have been a lot of a sprinkle of my garlic and herb. Mix that around and now just brush that all over. Really want that yumminess all around. We are locked and loaded and looking and smelling gorgeous. And these are gonna go into my oven preheated at 375 for 15 to 20 minutes. Keep an eye on them. You want them really deeply golden, not burnt. Then we're gonna let them come out. They're gonna set and just relax for a few minutes, and then we're gonna dive in. So good. All right, my Christmas trees baked for exactly 16 minutes, and I just like to keep an eye on them. And because I have 2 sheet pans, I rotate them. So at like 8 minutes in, I just took the one from the bottom and put it on the top, and then just so that they bake evenly. But they're really gorgeous. I can't even begin to tell you how good these are. I'm gonna take one of these because I really don't want to mess up my tree, but you know I will, especially for you. The dough is perfectly cooked. The stuffing, the yumminess is. You guys, it is so good. Really insane. So, as people like come in, I like the idea of just literally taking this. I'm gonna break it apart and like breaking it apart as people come in. And then the lucky ones will get the center, which is like extra delicious because it's like seeps in the most amount of filling is in that center, and it's tender. 10 out of 10. I'm gonna laurainthekitchen.com to get this written recipe. Place this on a board with some really pretty, like maybe cranberries and rosemary around it, just to kind of dress it up a little bit, or have that be the main focus on your charcuterie board, and you are in business. Also great at room temperature. Did I mention that? Great at room temperature. The recipe's there waiting for you. Hope you enjoy spending time with me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.